Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Welcome, one and all. I am Katie Patrick, joined as always by David Fiorazzo on this Mittwoch. If you're German out there, it's Mittwoch.
Middle of the week?
Yeah.
It's just a wild guess.
Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's Mittwoch, yeah. Well, anyway, since we're talking about, another country in this world, and we have a whole world and matters of this world.
Nice segue.
In view. Let's talk about some worldview matters
All
with
right,
David Fiorazzo.
the show is going well. I've got another friend of Israel on, historian Jim Fletcher, on today, and he wrote a book on the miracle that is Israel. If you know about their background, that the place was a desert, that whole area was just, as the Bible says, it's desolate, it's a wasteland, and then they came back to the land in 1948. It is miraculous. But Jim Fletcher, today you can subscribe to worldviewmatters.tv, and you'll get an email every Friday. So thank you. Also sharing, of course, as you share Educated, I would love for you to share Worldview Matters as well. So appreciate that. That's how it gets out there.
This is true. You can call it a fun Friday, getting your little email from Worldview Matters. Send you into the weekend feeling good. All right, well, just a quick reminder that you can catch Educated on the go by subscribing to the podcast on your favorite platform, whatever it may be. Now, we have a story. You may find yourself thinking on this side or thinking on that side, but it's a 60-year-old bus driver who is beloved by her community out in Long Island, and she was caught drinking on the job. But the woman says that there is much more to the story.
Yeah, this is, you just look at the headline, you go, okay, wow, what's going on with these bus drivers? But if you watch the video, which we'll show you in a minute, you'll understand why, and it really was a mistake. So it is Long Island, 60-year-old driver, Amal Hanna. She told the news station that she was undergoing chemo. There she is right there, for cancer, and that leaves her unable to taste if drinks have any alcohol in them. She grabbed a White Claw from the fridge, and she shares with her roommate, thinking she was drinking a fruit-flavored seltzer while driving her kids home from Smithtown High School. Last Wednesday. It was a mistake. She says, watch this video. We'll come back and we'll talk about it.
That is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
I hope that never happens again.
Outrage tonight in the Smithtown School District after a bus driver was accused of drinking alcohol while behind the wheel with high school students on board. A message from the school superintendent says, this afternoon we received a report of a bus driver drinking an alcoholic beverage while on the route to bring students home from High School West. According to the district, the bus driver was confronted at Great Hollow Middle School prior to dismissal, where it was confirmed that an alcoholic beverage was on board, and the driver was promptly taken from the bus and a different driver completed the route.
So that's the initial response. And I just had to confirm with Katie briefly. White Claws, like a wine cooler, or, so I guess it does have alcohol in it. So, but now let's hear the other side of the story. We'll come back. We'll talk about it. Go ahead.
I've been crying. I can't even have more tears for just a mistake. It was a mistake.
Bus driver Amal Hanna is beside herself after being fired for drinking while driving children from school in Smithtown.
For the people like me, they don't drink. How they get to know this is our liquor?
When heading out to work on Wednesday, Hanna grabbed what she thought was a regular seltzer, a White Claw that her roommate had left in the fridge.
Normally I take a snack and food because the chemo, I have to eat stuff and I'm working late.
Suffering through chemo treatments, Hanna has trouble tasting and says she didn't taste any alcohol. She also claims she didn't know there was alcohol in White Claws. However, when the White Claw was spotted in the cup holder on the bus, she was removed immediately.
We spoke with several parents who said Miss Amal was meticulous, always on time, and treated their children as if they were her own.
She was so sweet, just being kind to them. I can't imagine she would ever do anything to harm them.
Hanna has been a bus driver for 15 years. years and took great pride in her job, something that was evident to parents who had children in her care.
Nobody was hurt, but I think it was a very honest mistake.
I love the kids. I love my company. My company is so good to people.
Okay, so now you know the whole story, as Paul Harvey would say. Now you know the rest of the story. She was caught drinking while bringing students home. She will not face charges. Police do believe that she grabbed that, not realizing it was alcoholic. So there was no accident, no running off the road. It didn't really mention the details of, was it a student that saw it? Was it a parent that looked in and saw it in the cup holder when she stopped? So no accident, no damage, but just an interesting story, because depending on how you react, you need more information oftentimes, right,
True.
Katie?
Yeah, and this is a good case of let's get the whole story before we figure out how to approach this. Now, what's quite fascinating to me is the simple fact that when it's, cases of sexual abuse or other teachers doing things that are horrific to children, it's oh, well, we can't comment and we're going to, it's under investigation, and they dilly-dally for so long on all these things. But I take the cynic's approach of, well, of course it's, someone who is undergoing chemotherapy and made what seems to be an honest mistake on her part, a 60-year-old woman. Mm-hmm. And immediately, well, we got to take action. This will look good. We can dilly-dally on all the things that are truly horrific. And then this one is, in my opinion, kind of,
yeah.
Now, obviously, if there would have been an accident or something,
right,
God forbid, happened to those kids, then we all clearly would be like, well, see, she was drinking, and, we can go on and on about it. But I just want to make a little side note.
Yeah.
I had a friend he was in college, and he openly was drinking, I think it's called Four Loko or something. It has alcohol in it.
Okay.
In his college class, and he thought it was an energy drink. And so he didn't find out until after the fact. He's feeling weird about it. And he looked at it, and he's oh, this has alcohol. And he's sitting in his college class out in front of the professor, I'm just drinking along, didn't know. So, and I mean, he was 19 at the time, but he's maybe like her, more of an innocent who doesn't think
catch him?
No, they didn't catch him.
He didn't get in trouble?
No, unless the professor didn't see it, but it was out there on his desk, and all the students probably were like, why is a kid drinking in glass?
Yeah.
Different situation, but it is something to think about. I think it's...
All right, guys. Next, a father in Arizona became the talk of the town after attending a school board meeting where he stripped down to a crop top and booty shorts.
Whoop.
For all to see. We'll show you and talk about it when we return.
Ah, yes, booty shorts, David. Booty shorts. So this is, I mean, you want a visual for a story, a good visual on a story. Really, it brings the people in, keeps you intrigued, doesn't it? But this visual, you may not want to look at it. I'm just letting you know right now. We have a dad who decided to strip down in front of the highly unified school board, which is in Arizona, revealing some items underneath.
Okay.
Some skin and some very small pieces of clothing. Could have fit on a doll. The dad is named Ira Latham, and he believes that the school's new relaxed dress code is a little too relaxed. And so it allows crop tops and booty shorts, which kind of exposes said booty.
Oh, okay.
And he says they're inappropriate. And so let's take a gander, if you will.
If you ask me, this is inappropriate for a board meeting.
You might be wondering, why is a parent wearing this to a school board meeting?
I really had to make a statement.
This is Ira Latham, a Gilbert father with 4 kids in the Higley Unified School District.
These are my babies. These are my kids. I'm concerned about them.
In May, the district started dress code discussions, looking to update the policy, which hadn't been changed since 2001.
This is a very polarizing and controversial subject.
Board members split on the issue, some advocating for a new, looser dress code policy, eliminating restrictions, allowing for exposed midriff and spaghetti straps and halter tops, saying the existing policies disproportionately target female students.
We're saying that they need to cover up because of the way it might make someone else feel, and that is wrong.
Others advocating for a more modest dress code.
If we are prepping our children to be college and career ready, then they need to learn to be able to have self-respect.
The proposed policy also catching the attention of parents like Latham.
My concerns were about preparing students for entering the workforce, setting the right expectations, having respect for other students in the classroom.
After speaking out at a prior meeting, Latham opted for a different strategy last month.
Under the proposed policy, this would be appropriate in a classroom.
Latham stripping down to a crop top with spaghetti straps and very short shorts.
The dress code that they wanted to get to is just basically a dress code for a public pool. Make sure that kids cover their underwear, and that's about it.
So the previous dress code policy prohibited students from showing their chest, abdomen, and midriff. Katie, Petrick, can you explain why schools are allowing women primarily to show off a midriff or abdomen? I understand the chest part.
Well,
but how much of the chest?
There was a reason it was prohibited, but here's what, and this has been argued for decades at this point, and it's always in a sophomore English class. Policy debates. Should the school dress code policy be relaxed or even more strict? And not all. Female students tend to be like, well, it's way too restrictive, only for the girls. The girls should be allowed to show off whatever. If the boys can wear tank tops and show their arms, and if the boys could wear, like, they used to call them wife beaters, I don't know what they're called anymore, but like in very tight clothing, and they sometimes are able to go shirtless otherwise. Guys go shirtless for things, for gym class or whatever. Why can't the women do it? And so this, as you saw, there was it was all females up there on that school board, and it was a 3-2 vote where they voted to relax that dress code. Maybe some of those girls were once in a sophomore English class and wrote in favor of relaxing that dress code because it disproportionately affects the ladies, as they say. So the ladies should be allowed to show off their body parts because in society right now, girlfriend, they get to show it off because if they got it, they should show it. That's where we are as a society. Why wouldn't they, at this point, just doesn't matter. If you identify as whatever you want, doesn't matter. That's where we're at.
Well, we are there, and the dress code, it has to go along with the sexualizing of the children in the curriculum and the health or sex ed, and that's, talk about loosening the standards and the codes, right? So there's very little restrictions anymore when it comes to sexual activity and behavior. So who cares about the dress code? So I understand why in a lot of schools they're saying, yeah, whatever. That's not important. The kids are sexualized anyway.
Yeah, and what's interesting is Latham's wife, Monica, actually also spoke, which we didn't hear her in there. But she brought an interesting point, which is true, and I've heard this definitely happening. Changing this dress code doesn't help the education whatsoever for our children. True. I have heard of teachers that turn the room into ice boxes because they do not want to be known as sexist or favoring or whatnot other students. They make sure they turn them into ice boxes so that the students have to cover themselves so they don't have to deal with any of that. And that is fact check true. I wonder if this is probably more of an issue down south where it's warm all year. Like up here, we're just like, give me a parka to half the year.
So she's saying some will turn up the air conditioning.
Or they
so
turn
it gets so cold
that they don't want to sit there in their spaghetti straps from their cup.
Or in the north, they wouldn't turn on the heat.
They just wouldn't turn on the heat, and then you're just going to be.
Girls would have to cover up. Well, please cover up. Please. What happened to modesty? I think we
that's
as a nation,
the best policy, and we don't care about that.
We as a nation have forgotten how to blush. Ooh. And it's really we
just
really
apply
sad.
A lot of it.
Interesting. We're having these conversations though, but we can see the tide changing. It has changed already, right?
This is true. And speaking of tides are in water. And across the pond, we have a British professor who has launched a new course aimed at combating the wokeness, and enrollment is surging for it. That's nice. We're going to tell you what it's all about and why he was pushed out of his previous job in academia when we come back.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED. Educated. Support this show and a great American company.
Well, here we go. Fight fire with fire, they say. David, fight fire with fire. That's how the saying goes, at least. And we are inserting into that fire British politics professor Eric Kaufman, who is moving to a new university to form not only a new social science center, but to also teach a public course on woke ideology. You see what he's doing there? Since it's all woke, now he's fighting fire with fire by forming his own stuff. See how that works? So go on over to the University of Buckingham in England, because faculty and staff, according to Kaufman, have been very encouraging and are completely behind everything I am doing, he said, including the new course and the new center. Kaufman said that there must be 150 students registering interest for this course already, and the course is going to be a non-credit class. Like, you don't even get credit for it, and people are like, yes, I'll take it. I will go to it.
That's interesting.
It's slated for the spring 2024 semester, so obviously it's not happening right now. It's happening this spring. Something to look forward to in 2024. Remember when we said that in 2019? We were like, hey, something to look forward to in 2020.
Yeah.
Oh, seems like so long ago.
Yep.
Now,
it was.
The course, according to Kaufman, is really about evidence and logic. That is, trying to be dispassionate social scientists and analytical political philosophers. Are we allowed to do that anymore? Analytical political philosophers?
I don't know. That means you have to think harder.
We used to call that thinking back in the day. I don't want students to get too comfortable, so I will always play devil's advocate if need be. Wait a minute. So you're saying this professor is actually encouraging them to think both sides of an issue, or whatever it is they're discussing. Is
that critical thinking?
Is that a novel idea?
Is that allowed?
No, it's not allowed. Now, Kaufman, you're like, why is he at this new university? Why couldn't he just do this where he was? Well, Kaufman was teaching at Birkbeck, University of London, and he said it was hard in some ways to leave a place I had known as my intellectual home for 20 years. But radicals had poisoned the experience for me sufficiently to ensure that I was only coming in when I had to. I know professors who are like that. They only go to the university to teach the class, and then they bolt. I know professors like that. So the writing was on the wall, and the loss of freedom was palpable, even though most of the people I had known for years were perfectly cordial. How very British of him to say palpable and cordial. I love the terms. Now, he actually went about this announcement in a Twitter/X, whatever we're calling it these days, an X post. What do they call these things? A tweet is not a tweet anymore.
I still say tweet sometimes.
A Twitter? In a Twitter X post.
Twitter X post.
Whatever. He wrote, after 20 years, I am leaving a full University of London professorship for the University of Buckingham. In January, I launch a new low-cost online course open to the public on woke. The origins, dynamics, and implications of an elite ideology.
Awesome.
Ooh. And he says it's public, which means maybe we can all get a hold of it. Now, he put in a series of tweets here. He says, why leave? My university's uncertain financial position played a role, but I was also repelled by cancel culture and attracted by the chance to help build Buckingham as the only free speech university in Britain.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. That is sad. It's encouraging, but also very sad. The only one.
So cancel culture became such a big problem, and to only have one free speech university, according to this gentleman, that's unbelievable almost in this day and age where we should be able to have discussions, debates, share equal views, or not equal views, but equal time. Mm-hmm. People get shut down instead, and it's just sad. And
he goes on to say, whereas the U.S. has some 150 non-leftist research centers, nothing of this kind exists in Britain. Are there 150?
Wait a minute. What, 150 non-leftist? I know. Okay, there's Hillsdale.
It's not 150, right? It's just they're just non-leftist.
Okay.
So it's probably like the more sciencey ones.
They might call them moderate, which are still
okay.
Liberal, progressive, Marxist.
So he said, in January, I will therefore establish the Center for Heterodox Social Science at Buckingham to pursue countercultural social science and humanities research.
All right.
Progressive conformity and cancel culture are distorting the teaching and research mission of universities. Between the extremely controversial and the progressive controlled monoculture of academia is a vast and growing zone of unspoken truth. I just like how he talks. He writes like he probably talks, and I would like to hear from him. So maybe I will get a hold of that class. It's an online class. Why not? Now, again, if you're interested or want to look more into it, the course description does say that it's uniquely among university courses worldwide. It focuses attention on the Western cultural left and its accompanying symbolic system of wokeness, defined as the sacralization of minority identity.
Good for him. It sounds very interesting. Bet more people will sign up. And,
this is true.
Yeah.
This is true. Now, on to a lovely, happy story, because we like to end on a positive here whenever we can. A retired judge in Minnesota has found a unique way to cope with the death of his wife, and this was 6 years ago, and now everyone in the neighborhood is helping him celebrate an incredible milestone. It's a heartwarming story, and we can't wait to dive into it.
If you have a smartphone, tablet, Roku, or Apple TV, consider downloading the Freedom Project Media app. It's 100% free and includes all of our weekly shows, plus lecture series, archive programs, and award-winning animated videos for families like the Presidential Minute, Battles of America, and Heroes of the West. Don't rely on the social media giants to keep you informed. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app from your app store and allow notifications. And we'll let you know when a new video is ready.
Well, when a retired judge built a massive pool in his backyard, people were kind of questioning, wait a minute, this guy's 94. He's building a big pool. How long is he even going to be able to enjoy it? But the special way they are now marking his 100th birthday will show you that he did it for the neighborhood kids. And he's no longer lonely. His name is Keith Davison. His wife died, and the pool has proven to be the perfect antidote. So let's go to the video, and we'll come back. We'll talk about it.
When we first told you about the retired judge,
here comes the cement truck,
who built a backyard pool at age 94.
It's 16 by 32.
You had to have asked, how long could he even enjoy it? 6 years later, here's your answer.
Secret is don't die.
Keith Davison has reached a milestone.
Yeah. He's 100 now.
The World War II veteran with no grandchildren was battling loneliness back then.
April of 2016. That's when I lost her.
Alone in his empty house after the death of his wife, Evie.
You cry a lot. That's just the way it is.
And now? Kids in the pool. Parents on the deck next to them.
She knows what to do. We're celebrating Judge turning 100.
How you doing there?
A party with all the usual attractions.
Okay.
Plus,
it was a lot different when I was 18.
A 100-year-old guest of honor who still plays in the community band. Keith Davison dug a hole in his backyard.
That's his pool, right?
A hole.
Happy birthday.
Now is full.
Dear Judge.
As his 100-year-old heart.
Yeah, and I read in that article, one of his favorite themes is on the tuba is Hogan's Heroes.
Why not? Hey, Hogan's Heroes, great show. Come on now.
Wow,
Come on now.
It really is amazing. He did it for other people, and then it brought joy to himself and took away a little bit of that pain after losing his wife.
And the fact that he is 100 years old and is looking as great as he did. I mean, the beginning of that video, he was 94 because it was 6 years ago, and now he's 100. He looks just as good, if not better.
Yeah.
You gotta laugh, people. What's the saying go? No one's getting out of this alive. So enjoy it now. Here, spread the joy, spread the love.
Yep.
Play a tuba.
Plant a tree.
Plant a tree.
For people that will enjoy it after you.
The fact that he can play a tuba
of
all instruments, that takes a lot of pa, if you will, to get that. So Super excited for him. All right. Well, if you are a fan of what we do around here on Educated, please, if you could, like, comment, share, subscribe. You know, all that stuff that you're supposed to do. So if you are a fan of the video platform Rumble, though, also please follow our new channel at rumble.com/FreedomProject. Now for David and myself, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting this show. Until next time, stay educated.